In today's video, I'm going to show you how to properly debeak or beak trim your chickens using a manual trimmer. My layer chickens are now 12 weeks old, which is a good time to carry out a debeaking before they start laying. I will start by explaining the theory behind debeaking, why we do it, how it affects the bird, and what to keep in mind before starting. After that, I'll move on to the practical demonstration so you can see exactly how it's done using a manual trimmer. And later, I will answer some common questions about debeaking. So let's begin by understanding what debeaking really means and why it's important in poultry management. Debeaking, also known as beak trimming, is the process of removing a small portion of a chicken's beak. There are 4 main reasons why farmers perform debeaking, and it's worth understanding each one in detail. The first reason is feather pecking. Chickens may peck at each other's feathers out of curiosity, boredom, or stress. This can damage their feathers, make them uncomfortable, and cause tension in the flock. By trimming the beak, they can't pull out feathers as easily, which keeps the birds calmer and their feathers healthy. The second reason is cannibalism. Sometimes pecking can get aggressive and birds start pecking at each other's skin. This can cause injuries or even death. Debeating reduces the damage they can do, helping to keep all the birds safe. The third reason is egg eating. Some hens may peck at eggs and eat them, which reduces the number of eggs you can collect and can even encourage other birds to start doing the same. A trimmed beak makes it harder for them to break the eggs, stopping this habit. The fourth reason is feed wastage. Birds with long or sharp beaks often spill or scatter their feed when eating, which wastes food and money. A trimmed beak helps them eat more efficiently and reduces waste. There are different methods of debeaking. Some farms use infrared or hot blade machines, especially for large-scale operations. But in this video, I'll be demonstrating the manual method using a hand trimmer. The principle is the same. We remove about 1/3 of the upper beak and sometimes just a small portion of the lower one. The key point is precision. Trimming too much can cause excessive bleeding, pain, and feeding difficulties, while trimming too little won't solve the problem. The beak contains living tissue, so it's very important to avoid cutting too deep. Whenever you plan to debeak, make sure the birds are healthy, calm, and not under any stress from disease or poor feeding. Handle them gently because rough handling can make the procedure harder and more stressful for the birds. Good preparation, clean equipment, and a steady hand make all the difference in achieving a quick, clean, and humane trim. Now that we've covered the theoretical part, let's move on to the practical demonstration where I'll show you exactly how to perform the trimming step by step. Before we start trimming, the first step is to make sure we have everything ready and in good condition. For this demonstration, I'll be using a manual beak trimmer, which works by pressing the beak between 2 sharp blades. The trimmer should always be clean, sharp, and well aligned to make a smooth cut. If the blades are dull or dirty, they can crush or tear the beak instead of trimming it cleanly, which causes unnecessary pain and stress to the bird. It is important to work with another person if possible. One person can hold the bird while the other trims, but before you start, wash your hands. Now, when handling the bird, it's very important to be gentle but firm. When the bird is calm and positioned properly, it's time to do the trimming. Hold the bird's head steady, place the beak into the trimmer slot, making sure the amount you want to remove, about 1/3 of the beak, is properly aligned between the blades. Take a second to confirm your position before trimming, because precision here matters a lot. Once you are confident the alignment is correct, make a quick, firm squeeze on the handles. The cut should be clean and smooth. Try not to hesitate or apply pressure slowly, as that can cause more discomfort to the bird. After trimming, inspect the beak closely. If there is excessive bleeding and you don't have antiseptic solution, you can gently apply a clean, dry cloth or sterile gauze to the tip of the beak and hold it for a few seconds to help stop the bleeding. Some farmers also use cornstarch or flour as a natural way to help clot small bleeds. Just dip the tip of the beak lightly into it. The key is to be gentle and avoid pressing too hard. And remember that if the cut is clean and at the right level, bleeding is usually minimal. Never cut too deep. Once you've finished trimming, place the bird back in the coop and observe its behavior for a few moments. A properly trimmed bird will shake its head once or twice and then return to normal activity. If a bird seems very stressed or bleeds excessively, separate it temporarily in a quiet area to recover. It's always a good idea to work in short sessions, giving the birds time to settle between batches rather than rushing through the entire flock. After trimming, make sure the birds have easy access to feed and clean water mixed with vitamins and glucose to reduce stress. For the next few days, soft mash feed is ideal since it's easier for them to pick up and swallow while the beak adjusts. Keep a close eye on their feeding and drinking habits. If a bird isn't eating well or looks weak, check it again to ensure there's no problem with the trim. Proper aftercare helps the birds recover quickly and keeps them productive and stress-free as they move into the laying stage. As you've seen, the process isn't difficult, but it does require patience, gentleness, and attention to detail. The key points to remember are: use a sharp and clean trimmer, handle your birds calmly, trim only the right amount of the beak, and always make sure your birds are healthy before and after the procedure. A clean, quick trim helps prevent injuries, reduce feed wastage, and keep your flock peaceful as they enter the laying stage. Debeaking should always be done with care and respect for the bird. The goal isn't to harm them, but to manage their behavior and ensure their welfare in the long run. Many people ask whether all types of chickens should be debeaked. For example, broilers, which are raised for meat, usually aren't debeaked because they are harvested at a young age, often before aggressive pecking or feather damage becomes a problem. Local or indigenous chickens, however, can be debeaked if they are kept in confined spaces where pecking, cannibalism, or egg-eating is likely. But it's less common if they are free-range and have plenty of space. Another common question is when the appropriate time to debeak is. For most layer chicks, the first trimming is done at 7 to 10 days old, when the beak is small and soft, reducing stress and bleeding. A second, corrective trim can be done around 10 to 12 weeks, especially for pullets showing signs of aggressive pecking or overgrown beaks. The goal is to do it before the birds start laying eggs, so the flock enters the laying period calmer and safer. Some people also ask about debeaking adult birds. While it's possible, it is generally not recommended because older birds have fully developed harder beaks and trimming can be more stressful and painful. Usually, only the tip of the upper beak is trimmed, unless the lower beak is unusually long or sharp. If birds were not debeaked as chicks, a corrective trim can still be done later. Pullets that are 8 to 12 weeks old can have the tip of the beak trimmed. For older birds beyond 12 weeks, trimming becomes more difficult, and many farmers prefer to manage aggression with environmental changes first, such as providing more space. The key point is always to trim only what is necessary and handle the birds gently. Done correctly, debeaking can improve welfare, prevent injuries, reduce aggressive behavior, and support productivity, but it should always be done thoughtfully, carefully, and only when truly needed. I hope this video has been helpful and clear for anyone planning to debeak their own chickens. If you learned something new, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more poultry management tips and farm tutorials. Feel free to leave any questions or experiences in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.